There's this one game I've been thinking about for a little bit, and I've been wanting to make a video on it just to talk about it and just talk about how good the game was. And to be honest, I really did enjoy this game a lot back in the day, back in like 2010, 2011, or even like earlier than that, like 2009, man. And that game is Wizard 101, ladies and gentlemen. Wizard 101, man. That game was special to me. I enjoyed it a lot. I loved it. And I know the game's free, and I think it's still alive right now. And I think there are still people playing it, but I feel like the people that are playing it now is mostly like the people that absolutely love that game and just never ever like got off the game. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing I didn't like about Wizard 101 is that it's free, right? But you can only do the beginning parts of the game. Like you can only, I think, do like the first like 3 missions, I guess, until you have to go to like Cyclops Lane. I remember that one, and then this like other one, right? And you had to pay with crowns, which were basically like the currency in the game. So you basically had to pay to play the game, and I did honestly. I wish I could get my account right now, but I not only one did I forget the email and password, but two, that thing is probably long gone in the dust, man. And I had an account. Okay, I was a Storm freaking Wizard, and I remember beating the first world, like most of it, and also I was in the second world. I was moving on to the third world, and think about it, there was a moment in time where I played Wizard 101 for the last time, and I didn't even know it. That is honestly crazy, man. Like, it really is. I just absolutely love that game, man. It just had so much content within it. It's just such a nostalgic game. Like, it was such a fun and cool PC game that you don't really see really anymore. I mean, yeah, there are cool and fun free PC games, but a game like Wizard 101, when you had different cards and stuff, your different strategies, like, I remember I used to think cards is something different because I was a little kid, man. So when you are a little kid, your imagination goes all through the roof. It goes through the roof. And so when like I was thinking about Wizard 101, I was like, oh, maybe this card does that, but in reality does something else. You know what I mean? Like I remember back in the day, I used to think the taunting card was like a one hit. Like it was like a one hit thing, and then that was it. But that's not what it is, man. I remember I mostly did pick the School of Storm, but I think the best school in the game, even right now, I think is the School of Death, because the reason why is, well, when you like attack an enemy, you also get health back, which is pretty good in OP. But Storm actually was really good, man. I remember, I think the farthest I've gone in Storm, I don't really remember. I think I got the Kraken. I think that's one of the last ones. And that freaking car was insane. I just really enjoyed it, man. I remember I had a decked out apartment. You have your little apartment in the place where like the big trees at and all the schools, right? I had a really decked out apartment. My character was all decked out. I remember the barracks. I think that's what the place was called. It was like this place. It was near like Cyclops Lane, where it's you. I think I don't. As I said, I forgot what it's called, but I remember that place. I used to deal in there. I used to sell all my stuff for big bucks. I used to buy things and then resell it. You know what I mean? Like I was one of those. I spent a lot of time in that little shop, man. It was just amazing. I really did enjoy Wizard 101, and I would honestly go and play it again. But it's like, what's even the point? I'm gonna play it or download it, whatever. I'm gonna play like the very beginning, and then that's it, man. Because I'm not, playing that game. There's not really any purpose to play the game, and I know there's like different things going on behind the scenes. Like there's new ownership and stuff like that, and supposedly they're kind of like, or they kind of ruined the game. Like I guarantee you, if I look up Wizard 101 on YouTube right now, there are probably still people playing that game, and for good reasons, man. I don't know when that game's gonna shut down. It has to shut down sometime soon, right? I mean, there's no way. But it's cool that it's still up, man. And honestly, as I said, I was thinking about playing it, but there really isn't no point. You know what I mean? So I like to watch some gameplay of Wizard 101 here and there, just to reminisce on the glory days of just how fun that game was, man. I remember the PC that I had. I used to use my dad's PC. Ah, man, it was so slow. It was just so slow. It was painful loading and stuff. And as I said, I remember, not only being the first, but that second world where it's like all sand and stuff. I remember like trying to go to the corners to avoid enemies, and then it used to be the absolute worst when you're trying to avoid enemies right before a boss fight, and then you fight an enemy and you're like half the health's gone, and you have like no health potions, whatever. So you have to go into a boss fight basically like one shot. I remember that used to make me mad. And most of the boss fights in that game, like I can't really remember any boss that gave me trouble. But I mean, it was just cool, man. Like I remember doing the house, like how it's like a gauntlet. You know what I mean? Like you first beat the boss, then you go to the second boss, third boss, and then it gets harder as you go up and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. And it's just like a really fun game, man. Like there's just so much cool things in there, so much like different cards you could deal with. And I think it's a pretty creative game if you really think about it from like just thinking about it from like a third person, like the fact that you had your different schools and stuff, different cars, like the way the game played. I thought it was super cool, and I remember I used to watch a ton of YouTube videos on it. Malistaire, fighting Malistaire, the last boss, and I know there's like many DLCs added and stuff like that. And I remember having a pet pig. I remember that, and also like my favorite was like the little cheetah, or right, like the little cheetah tiger. I think that was my favorite pet in the game. I mean, the pig was cool, but it's just really garbage. I remember the pet arena thing where you could do little mini games with the pets and just do little mini games in the game in general. I just really liked him, as I said. Super fun and just super nostalgic, you know? Like, Wizard101 is such a nostalgic game. I feel like people don't really talk about it as much because you don't really see any YouTube videos of people like, oh, Wizard101 was a good game or something like that. I mean, yeah, you see a few, and yeah, as I said, you see a few people kind of play the game, but no one really remembers it, you know what I mean? But I remember it. I used to grind that game a lot, man. I used to grind it a lot. Again, I was probably like the #1 school storm player in the world. No, I'm just kidding. I was not the #1. I was probably like number 600,000, because to be honest, I just didn't really like sweat in the game. Like, I didn't want to become pro or anything like that. I just wanted to mostly enjoy my experience, and that's what I did with that game. I enjoyed my experience. It was super, just as I said, super fun to play. And I used to just, man, think about that game a lot back in the day. And it was like a game that I honestly miss. And I miss having, an online game like that where you could hop in and then like deal some cards. Like, it's just a unique video game that I feel like doesn't get that much credit. So I'm gonna try to give it credit in this video, man. Wizard101, really, really fun, super enjoyable game. And I wish I could get my old account back just to look at everything I got and what I left off, But I remember I used to, get cards, because not only you get your cards from school from your own school for free, but there's like different schools that you can get different cards from. And I remember doing, I think, the School of Death, and I got, I think, some fire stuff. I remember like the fire meteor. I remember that thing being OP back in the day in like the early game, right? There was just a lot of cool things about the game, and I wish I could play it again, as I said, hop on my main account, but unfortunately that thing is long gone, man. So to my Wizard101 character right now that is just standing in the little school hallway, whatever, I hope you're doing the best, man. So yeah, that's all I want to talk to you guys about today's Wizard101, and just kind of reminisce on it, man. Pretty fun and enjoyable game that I feel like people don't really talk about online as much, and it's definitely one of those games where I will definitely go play again, man. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. That's all I have for you guys today. Have a good day.